What's up, guys? Jason Julius here, and this one I think a lot of guys can relate to. I got an email this week from a guy that says something kind of like, "Hey Jason, I'm a healthy 34-year-old. I'm attracted to my wife. We started having sex. I'm fully hard. Then mid-sex, I feel myself starting to soften, and within seconds, it's totally gone. I lay there feeling like a total failure. What is happening to me?" Now, I gotta tell you, I get a lot of emails from guys that are in very similar situations. And almost every guy thinks the exact same thing. He thinks that his hardware is broken. He thinks that maybe he has erectile dysfunction. He thinks that he needs a pill for it. Now, look, sometimes there's a real medical issue, right? And I always say, go see a doctor and rule that out. But, that's just a smart thing to do. But I can tell you that in almost 2 decades of working with men in this exact same thing, the vast majority of the time, it is not a hardware problem at all. It is what I call the anxiety spiral. It is a specific loop that fires off in your nervous system in the middle of sex. And once it starts, it cascades fast. Hard 1 second, panic the next. Gone in 15 seconds. You're not doing it. It is happening to you. And it feels awful. And the worst part is the more it happens, the more your nervous system remembers and the faster it fires the next time. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what the anxiety spiral is and why it does what it does to your body. Then I'm going to give you a 3-step fix that you can use in the moment to break the loop and come back into the experience with her. Now, I want to tell you up front, the 3-step fix is the immediate tool, but there is a deeper question underneath this, which is why your nervous system is treating sex like a survival situation in the first place. And we're going to touch on that towards the end so you know exactly where to go next. So stick with me and let's get into it. All right, let's break down what is actually happening in your body. You're in the moment, things are good, you're hard, right? You have an erection, and then you have a thought. It doesn't matter what that thought is. Could be, wait, am I still hard? It could be, she seems quiet. Is she into this? Could be a flicker of memory from a time where things went wrong. It could be nothing specific at all. It could be your cat interrupted you, right? Just a vague sense of pressure or something shifting and changing. And that trigger is really irrelevant. What matters is what happens next. The thought triggers a tiny spike of attention to yourself. You step out of the experience and start watching yourself have the experience. We call this monitoring. You become the observer of your own performance instead of being inside of the experience with her. Now, here's the problem. The moment you start monitoring, your nervous system reads it as a threat because evolutionarily, your body only watches itself in life or death situations. So that monitoring tells your brain, we are in danger. And your brain does what it is designed to do. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. And here's the catch. In fight or flight, your body does one thing as one priority: survive. So it shunts blood away from your digestion and away from your penis, and it sends it to your legs. Why? Because if you're running from a tiger, you don't need to have an erection, right? You just need to run. So this is biology, right? It is not some kind of character flaw. It is not some kind of weakness that you have. It is your body executing a perfect stress response to a situation that it has misclassified as dangerous. And that monitoring is so much more common in our modern day society because of how we are conditioned to constantly think in school, in work, and we lack the skill of our own natural presence. So monitoring becomes much more of an issue for modern guys who are very analytical, myself included. I completely understand. Okay, so now you are starting to, soften and lose your erection. And the second you feel that softening, the panic starts spiking and you're like, oh my God, it's happening, right? And that panic is more sympathetic activation, more cortisol, the stress hormone, more blood pulled away from your penis. The, softening just continues. And within 15 or 20 seconds, you've lost it. And that is the spiral. Notice, panic, monitor, spike, soften, more panic, gone. And here's the part that really sucks. After it happens once, the next time you have sex, your nervous system remembers. It is already on alert. So the spiral starts even faster. That is why this thing snowballs over time and gets worse. Now, I had my own version of this for years. My first real girlfriend, the first time that we tried to have sex, I couldn't get an erection. I was nervous, right? And I was a teenager. I was young, right? So I was overwhelmed. And the embarrassment of that one moment stuck with me long after that night ended. So later in life, every time I was, getting intimate with a new partner, my nervous system was already on alert, looking for the same thing to happen again. And the spiral was kind of like preloaded. And I spent years focused on the wrong fix until I figured out how to break the loop. So I'm telling you everything in this video from the inside, not from just some textbook or something. Okay, so that is the diagnosis. Now let's talk about how to break it. Before I walk you through these 3 steps, I want you to lock in one reframe, because if you skip this, the steps are going to kind of feel hollow. The fix is not to force the erection back. You cannot will yourself into an erection. Trying harder is the very thing creating the problem. The fix is to break the spiral, get out of the monitoring loop, and let your nervous system come back to a state where blood flow can return naturally. 3 steps. Here we go. Step 1, name it without panic. The moment you notice the spiral starting, instead of bracing against it, you internally say something like, there it is, there's the spiral. Or honestly, the line that works best for me is just say, I love that. Now I know I love that sounds counterintuitive when something feels like it is going wrong, but it's not because you love losing your erection. It's because your body is just trying to protect you. It is running a survival program. The moment you say, I love that, that's just my mind protecting me. You've changed the meaning of the situation. And when you change the meaning, you change the state. Now that little reframe creates a tiny gap between you and the panic. The you that can observe the panic is already separate from it. And that gap is where the reset really lives. So step 2 is drop into one specific sensation. And this is the most important physical move that you can do. The monitoring loop is mental. It lives in thought, analytical thought. You break it by dropping out of thought and into sensation. Pick one thing, the warmth of her skin under your hand, the smell of her hair, the exact texture on her back, her breath against your neck. Pick one specific point of contact and put your full attention there, like a spotlight. You're not trying to, you're not trying to do anything specific. You're not trying to enjoy it or perform enjoyment. You're just observing it, right? In real time. And what does that actually feel like? Not what should I feel, not performing. What do I actually feel right now in this exact place where we are touching? Now, this works because the senses only exist in the now. The narrative exists in the past or the future. When you are fully in the senses, you are physically incapable of being in the spiral because they cannot occupy the same awareness at the same time. And here's where the energetic side of this kicks in. The moment you drop into sensing her, you stop being a performer and start being present with her. That is the masculine energy of connection, and she feels it. Her nervous system instantly reads that you are no longer in your head, and her body softens with you. Even if you're still soft physically, the energetic pressure between you actually drops away. That alone changes the moment, right? And step 3 is one slow belly breath plus a simple re-anchor. While you are in that sensation, take one deep, slow breath into your belly, not your chest, your belly, the kind of breath where your stomach actually pushes out and your chest stays still. And why are you going to do this? Because your vagus nerve runs right through your diaphragm. And when you down here, when you breathe deep into your belly, you're physically massaging that nerve and sending a chemical signal directly to your brain that says, we are safe. That is the parasympathetic switch flipping back on. Rest and digest, the state where erections actually live. And as you exhale, drop a simple thought in. It doesn't have to be some kind of mantra. It could be something like, I am here, or she is safe with me, or honestly, just nothing at all. Just feeling her. You don't even have to think. You don't even want to think. Here's the secret that most guys miss. When you do this, you're no longer trying to get hard. And the moment you stop trying, You are out of the survival loop and the body does what it naturally does in a relaxed parasympathetic state. The blood flow returns, the erection comes back, often in, less than a minute without you trying to make it happen. You broke the spiral by getting out of its way. Okay, I want to take a step back for a minute because the 3-step fix is the in the moment tool, but there's a deeper question underneath all of this. Why is your nervous system treating sex like a survival situation in the first place? Now, the honest answer is somewhere along the way, your survival mind started running a story. The story is some version of my worth as a man is on trial in this moment. Maybe it goes back to a time when things went wrong. That's what it was for me. Maybe it goes back to something that a partner said or did. Or maybe it goes back to messages you absorbed about what a man is supposed to be in bed. It doesn't matter where it started. What matters is your nervous system is trying to protect you from a perceived threat that is not actually a threat. The story inside is loud, but it's lying. The deeper fix is not a technique. It is access to the state of authentic confidence that lives underneath the survival mind's noise. That state is not something you have to build. It is already there. You just have to stop letting the noise override it. That is what leadership energy actually is. It's not bravado. It's not dominance. It's the grounded center underneath the survival mind that does not need to prove anything. From that place, the spiral has nothing to feed on because there is no performance to monitor. Now, I went a little deeper in this on my video called How to Fix Performance Anxiety in Bed, the Observer Reset video. It's on this channel, and if today's video resonated with you, that is the natural next thing to watch. The link is in the description below. All right, now you have the 3-step protocol to help you in the moment. Step 1 is to name it without panic. Step 2 is to drop into one specific sensation. And step 3 is one slow belly breath plus a simple re-anchor. And that should be all done with your intuitive mind, not your thinking mind, which can take a little bit of time to master, but basically it should be instinct and automatic and not something that engages your logic. Logic and thinking is part of the spiral. And honestly, if it doesn't come back right away, stimulate her with your mouth or stimulate her with your hands. You have 1,000 ways to make her feel amazing that don't require an erection, and use them. She's not keeping score in the way that you think she is. That is the stack. That is how you break the anxiety spiral in real time and stay in the experience with her instead of getting hijacked by it. One quick note, if your erections feel chronically soft, even outside of sex, like you can't fully get hard at all, or you're walking around with like a tight pelvic floor, that is a different problem. And I made a separate video on that called Fix Weak Erections, the PC clamp secret. And I'll also link to that in the description as well. And the deepest version of this work is honestly about authentic masculine confidence, the state underneath all the noise. And I have a free authentic confidence exercise over at jasonjulius.com. It is a specific practice. It's not things like affirmations or hype. It's designed to help you connect with that grounded center so it becomes your default and not something that you have to find under pressure. So if you're interested, head over to jasonjulius.com and grab it. I will link to that below as well. So if this video helped you in any way, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel reach more guys who need to hear this, and it absolutely means the world to me. Make sure that you're subscribed because I have a lot more coming up, and drop me a comment, especially if you have broken that spiral and you have your own version of what worked for you. I read all the comments. It's amazing. It helps other guys as well. So make sure you comment below, and awesome comments turn into the next video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.